वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुर्साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste and a hearty welcome to one and all for today's 46th session of our series Gift, Gita for Inner Freedom and Transformation. Continuing Ishvara Swarupam, or the nature of God, in today's verses 13 to 17 of the 9th chapter, Rajavidya Raja Guhya Yoga shall be explained by Srimati Padma Chandrasekhar, Dr. Netra, Srimati Sukanya Narayan, Dr. Sachin, and Dr. Satyanarayana Ladit. Sri Venkateshwara Prasad shall moderate today's session and give an introduction to the day's topics with key aspects. Over to Sri Venkatesh Prasad.
Thank you, Shiv. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. Next. Lord Krishna described Ishvara Swarupam, the nature of God, from verse number 4 up to the verse number 10 of this chapter, and especially the higher nature of the God, Lord. In 7th chapter, he talked the lower nature, Apara Prakriti, which is Saguna Swarupam, and then the higher nature, Para Prakriti, the Nirguna Swarupam. In the beginning of 9th chapter, he focused upon the higher nature, Para Prakriti. In the 11th shloka, Krishna pointed out that the ignorance of the higher nature of the Lord alone is the cause of samsara. Para Prakriti Agnanameva Samsarasya Karanam. Next slide, please. How can the ignorance of Para Prakriti become the cause of samsara? Because Para Prakriti, the higher nature alone, is beyond time and space. Desha, Kala, Adhita, Swarupam. And therefore, only if we hold on to Para Prakriti, then alone immortality is possible. Other than Para Prakriti, you hold on to any other thing, any other Apara Prakriti Swarupam, then it will come within the time and space. It will come within the realm of Maya, and anything that falls within Maya is subject to change. Asti, Jayate, Vardhate, Viparinamate, and Vinashyati. And therefore, as long as a person does not seek Para Prakriti, anything he accomplishes within Apara Prakriti, he will continue to be samsari. And that is why we say, even in Karma Kanda, a person who is religious, who performs rituals, and who goes to higher lokas, even those lokas fall within Deshakala. Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartinaha. And therefore, only when a person knows the real nature of God and hold on to the real nature, he can be free from samsara. But this fact, majority of people do not know. And therefore, they hold on to the finite thing and suffer. Unfortunate thing is that they do not learn and they hold on to another finite thing and again suffer. So, Para Prakriti Agnanam or Ishvara Swarupa Agnanameva Samsarasya Karanam. In 2nd chapter, Shloka 41, Krishna says, Vyavasayatmika buddhi rekeha kurunandana bahushaka hi anantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. Krishna said that there are some people who are very clear and have diagnosed the problem and they are taking to the right course, Vyavasayatmika buddhi. But there are many other people who are still groping in darkness. They do not know what exactly they want. They think that this is the goal for some time and acquire it. And they find that they do not get what they wanted. And then they replace the goal with another goal, again acquired and no satisfaction. So these people are confused people. And why they are confused? Because their thinking is not clear. Next slide, please. In Kathopanishad, we saw that our body is compared to the chariot, sense organs are compared to the horses, mind is compared to the reins, and intellect is compared to the driver. A journey will be in the right direction if the driver is informed properly. Similarly, if my intellect has got clear understanding, things will be clear. And that is why we say, just as Arjuna had Krishna to guide him, if we have got scriptural guidance, we will get right knowledge and right direction. But most of the people do not come to the scriptures, and therefore they have wrong knowledge, they have wrong desires, and therefore they have wrong results. And therefore they suffer in samsara. Next slide, please. Our course of life takes three stages: janati, ichati, and yatati. You have got an understanding about the goal, that is janati. And ichati, I desire for accomplishing the goal. And yatate, I strive to attain that goal. So gnana, ichha, and prayatna. That is how gnana shakti, ichha shakti, and kriya shakti. Of these three, if the first one, gnanam, is improper, then the desires also will be improper. And if the desires are improper, my efforts also will be improper. And when efforts are improper, then what will be the result of the effort? Brihadaranyaka Upanishad beautifully presents yata kamo bhavati tat kritur bhavati. Yat kritur bhavati tat karma kurute. Yat karma kurute tat abhisampadayate. Krishna talked about these confused people, unlucky and unfortunate ones, in verse number 12. Krishna calls them Vichetasaha, means Avivekinaha, those people who do not have Viveka Shakti, whose Sattva Guna is overpowered. Added to this, such an indiscriminate people neither will know by themselves nor will expose themselves to the teaching of the scriptures because of their intellectual arrogance. Mundakopanishad criticizes them. Avidyayamantare vartamanaha swayam dhiraha panditam manyamanaha janganyamanaha pariyanti moodaha andenaiva niyamana yathandaha. Therefore, these vimudaha, because of their moga gnanaha, all wrong understanding and expectations, they develop mogasha, vain desires, and engage in moga karmanaha, futile exercises. Needless to say, they end up with not realizing expectations, security from insecure, permanence from the impermanence. Shankara says in his Bhajagovindam, Ma kuru dhanajana yavana garvam harati nimeshat kalaha sarvam. When they do not get what they want or less than what they desire, the desire replaces greed, which will lead to more of kamya karma. This kamya karma will be either kama based or krodha based actions. As a result, nitya naimittika karmas like pancha mahayagnas will take a backseat and nishiddha karmas will dominate their actions. The result is buddhi nasha. Next slide, please. And then from the 13th verse onwards, up to 19th verse, Krishna talks about those people who have diagnosed this problem. We know the solution is para prakriti gnanam eva. And once that is clear, gnanam is a solution. For gnanam, I requires the necessary qualification, and therefore sadhana chatushtaya sampatti will become immediate goal. And to achieve this, I have to follow karma yoga and upasana. Thus I know what my course of life is, because clarity is there. I have to follow karma yoga. I have to follow upasana. I have to acquire necessary qualifications. I have to follow jnana yoga. I have to attain jnanam. And by way of that, I have to remove ignorance. And I have to be muktaha. In today's session, we are going to study shlokas from 13 to 17. In shloka 13, Krishna talks about those who have right course, whom he refers to as Mahatmanaha. To explain the shloka 9.13, I invite Srimati Padma Chandrasekhar. Padma, please.
Thank you, sir. Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. In the previous verse 12, Lord Krishna talks to Arjuna about people with Mohinim Prakriti, that is, people with delusive nature in whom Rajasic and Tamasic gunas predominate and who lead a life ignorant of the higher nature of lead a life sorry uh, lead a life ignorant of the higher nature, Prakriti, Paraprakriti of Ishvara, due to lack of viveka. This verse 13 refers to people with Daiva Prakriti, the divine nature born of Sattva. The Punyatmas or Mahatmas, as Lord Krishna calls them, who, because of their punyam in previous janma, are fortunate to be born in an environment where sattvic and dharmic way of life with scriptural guidance is prevalent and acquire the required jnanam, and also with value for nitya, naimitika samskaras are present. Coming to the verse, महात्मानामस्तु मां पार्थ दैवीं प्रकृतिमाश्रितः भजन्ति नन्यमानसः ज्ञात्वा भूतादिमव्ययम्. Translation: Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, Partha, having taken to sattvic nature and having known me to be the imperishable cause of all human beings, the noble souls, on the other hand, worship me with an undistracted mind. Mahatmanam. Here Lord Krishna separates Sakama Bhaktas and Nishkama Bhaktas. He glorifies Nishkama Bhaktas. He says, Nishkama Bhaktas, whether in Grihastha Ashrama or Vanaprashta Ashrama or not Artha or Arthati Bhaktas, who with sadhana chatushtaya sampatti accept rituals for chitta shuddhi, guru prapti, for inner spiritual growth, acquiring jnanam to transcend to as jignasu bhaktas. And because of this sattva guna pradhana, he develops nitya anitya vastu viveka, that is the ability to correctly differentiate between nitya eternal and anitya the transitory. They follow with shraddha, devotion, the daily dharmic life with rituals like pujas, panchamahayagnas, etc. The Sakama Bhaktas too do all these religious practices, but the difference is in the sankalpa of the two. The sankalpa of the Nishkama Bhaktas is for Jnana Vairagya Siddhyartham. The Mahatma Purushas seek the divine with the sattvic root, Daivim Prakritim, seeking Shraddha in Aham Brahma Asmi Mahavakyam. When scriptures say Bhagwan is in Vaikuntha, everyone, without questioning, have the infinite faith in this. But when the same Veda says Aham Brahma Asmi, we are reluctant, difficult to come to accept this. The faith in the Mahavakya is not there. For an unprepared mind, knowledge of higher nature of God, Para Prakriti Jnanam, remains unknown. It is like a secret. Lord Krishna terms as Raja Vidya Guhyam. Daivim Prakritim Ashritaha. Therefore, Lord Krishna says, seek and take refuge in the divine sattvic nature. Bhajanta Anyanya Manasaha, with a mind devoted to nothing else but God. From Paroksha Jnanam, one goes to Aparoksha Jnanam. Jnatva Bhutadim Avyayam. Jnatva, having known Ishvara as Bhutadim, one who is Jagat Karanam for both Panchabhutas and all living beings, and as Anadi, without a beginning, and is also Avyayam, without an end, who is imperishable, eternal, changeless, causeless cause of all things. Bhajanti, bhajanti Ananya Manasaha. Ananya Manasaha, with a mind devoted to nothing else but the Lord. Swami Paramarthanandaji says, Bhajanti here means for a Jignasu Bhakta, the journey begins from Brahma Asti to Brahma Asti. Thank you, sir. Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namah.
Thank you, Padma, for the wonderful explanation. You have covered all the points. There is nothing to add, but just let us look at what Shankara Bhashya says about this. Due to Purva Janma Pundyam, some people accept Veda Pramana and follow Vedic rituals, but they use it only for Chitta Shuddhi. They are Dvaita Bhaktas or Sakama Ishvara Bhaktas, in other words, Artha or Artharthi Bhaktas, who are striving to become Nishkama Bhaktas or Jignasa Bhakta. Hence, they continue karma and upasana as diligently as before. When they were Artha Bhaktas and Artharthi Bhaktas, their karma is called karma. But when they get converted into Jignasu Bhaktas, the very same karma will be called Karma Yoga. Jignasu Bhakta's puja becomes Karma Yoga. Jignasu Bhakta's Dvaita Upasana will get converted into Upasana Yoga. Change is not in the religious life, change is in the Sankalpa. And when the Sankalpa changes, the word yoga is added to everything. Even daily eating becomes eating yoga. Everything gets suffix yoga once I become a Jignasu Bhakta. Motive is different, no more personal centric prayers and no more family centric prayers, only Gnana Vairagya Siddhyartham prayers, as Padma said. Therefore, they get involved in Karma Upasana Yoga, and this is divided into two portions. 14th shloka talks about Kayika Bhakti and Vachika Karma as yoga, and 15th shloka talks about Manasa Karma Yoga. The Anvaya is, He Partha, Daivin Prakritim Ashritaha Mahatmanah tu Buddha Bhutadim Avyayam Mam Gnatva Ananya Manasaha Shanta Bhajanti. Shankara asks, Katham, how? Dr. Netravati is going to answer the question, how, in this verse 9.14. Dr. Netra, please.
Namaste, Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. In the chapter 7, God was described as higher para prakriti and lower apara prakriti. 8th chapter described a unique krama mukti of attaining moksha, and the present chapter 9 talks about God as para prakriti, which we attain through Jivan Mukti. So in this 9th chapter, the introduction of Ishvara Jnanam was given in the first 3 verses. 4 to 10 verses discussed the central theme, that is Nirguna Ishvara Jnanam, and verse 12 to 9 discusses how different type of people respond to the problem. So coming to the next slide, the verse proper. Satatam kirtiyanto mam yatantascha drudavrataham namasyantascha mam bhaktya Nityayukta upasate. That is, constantly praising me, striving with a firm resolve, and surrendering to me with devotion. These ever steadfast ones worship me. So let us learn what this verse says in the next slide. Varieties of spiritual sadhanas are enumerated. After becoming a Jnanasu Bhakta, also Kayaka Vachika Karmani is being talked about here. As an Artha Bhakta and Artharthi Bhakta, I have done puja before, but after becoming Jnanasu Bhakta, also I continue to do the puja. Previously, it was Sakama Puja, but now it is Nishkama Puja. And therefore, Krishna talks about the various varieties of Nishkama Karmani, that is Nishkama Kaika Vachika Karmani is mentioned in this shloka. Coming to the next slide. So how do they pursue the goal of Ishvara is pointed out here. Druda Vrataha, that is, they are people of firm resolve. What is the resolve? I want to attain Ishvara, Moksha, Mukti. They have Tivra Mumukshu, that is, they want to take it with lot of determination. That is the reason we have lot of vrata in our religion. Unlike other religions, we do not do the vrata once in a while. In a month itself, we have Ekadashi, Pradosham, Shivaratri, and so on. So, these vratams are done to remind us for what purpose we have come. So, this is Satatam Kirtayantaha. That is, they talk about the primary goal as often as possible, and the people are in Satsangaha. That is, they are associated with those people who also are Mumukshu. Coming to the next slide. The difficult part of Vedanta sadhana is acquiring the qualifications. And for that, if you ask, when should we start? It is now. Yatantaha. So karma yoga is a preparation, upasana is preparation, acquiring ethical value is a preparation. Everything you do is preparation, and it is yatantaha, means putting forth appropriate effort continuously. And not only that, bhaktya mam namasyantaha. They also know that it is not just my mere effort which is sufficient, because we're all too small in this creation, and there are so many hidden unknown factors, endless obstacles which are adhyatmika, adi bhautika, adi daivika. So there are so many pratibandhas when you want to do a good work. So we also require Ishvara Anugraha. So these mumukshu know very well, and therefore they constantly surrender to the Lord. So prayatna is important, anugraha is also important. So both should go hand in hand, only then we succeed. That is the reason Gita starts with Partaya Pratibodhitam Dhyana Shloka to invoke the God's blessings. Both the factors are beautifully highlighted in the verse. The first line, Yatantaha, is my effort, free will, and second line talks about Namasyantaha, the role of God's grace. So, free will is important or grace is important? Both are equally important. If you discard free will, you are a fatalistic person. But if you discard Anugraha, you're an arrogant person. So, we should not be fatalistic nor arrogant. We should know our effort is important, but Ishwara's grace is also important. So, there should be a balanced approach. Nitya Yuktaha means whatever disciplined, ever steadfast commitment is indicated. So, at all levels, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. So, all levels, there is only one focus, that is moksha, moksha, moksha. So, coming to the next slide. In conclusions, from the 13th verse onwards, Krishna is glorifying Jnana Bhakta, and depending upon the level of the spirituality, a Jnana Bhakta is either engaged in Karma Yoga, Upasana, or Jnana Yoga. All these three yogas belong to Jnana Bhakta only. And in the 14th verse, Krishna talks about Karma Yoga led by Jnana Bhakta in Kaika Karmani and Vachika Karmani, because both of this he prays only to become Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti and nothing else. And after talking about Karma Yoga in the 14th verse, in the 15th verse, Krishna refers to Upasana Yoga and Jnana Yoga, which is the next level of Jnana Bhakta. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Dr. Netra, for a very clear explanation of this verse. The Anvaya of the verse is Dridavrataha Nityayuktaha cha Satatam Yajantaha Kirtayantaha Bhaktya Maam Namasyantascha Shantaha Maam Upasate. The key words here are Dridavrataha, meaning with firm resolve, and Nityayukta, meaning ever steadfast. What do? Kaika Bhakti and Vachika Karma Yoga. How? Kirtayantaha, Yajantaha, Namasyantaha, Upasate. How do they do? Satatam, always. We can see this in verse 9.27. Yat karoshi, yadashnoshi, yad juhoshi, dadasiyat, yat tapasyasi kaunteya, tat kurusva madarpanam. Remember, after becoming a Jignasu Bhakta also, Kaika Vachika Karmani will continue. As an Artha Bhakta and Artharthi Bhakta, I did puja before, and after becoming Jignasu Bhakta also, I have to continue the puja. Previously, it was Sakama Puja, and later it became Nishkama Puja. And therefore, Krishna talks about the varieties of Nishkama Karmani. While Nishkama Kayika Vachika Karmani is mentioned in the 14th shloka, the Nishkama Manasa Karmani is mentioned in the 15th shloka, as Dr. Netra explained. Te kena kena prakarena upasate iti uchyate. Te means Jignasu Bhakta. Upasate, they worship or seek Bhagwan. Kena kena prakarena, through what all methods they worship or invoke Bhagwan iti uchyate, that is described in the shloka 9.15. To throw light on this, I invite Srimati Sukanya Narayan. Sukanya, please.
Hari Om, sir. Bhakti is an integral part for attaining self-knowledge. This chapter is the description of two aspects of Ishvara, Saguna and Nirguna. Apara Prakriti component of Saguna Ishvara is the eightfold form, Panchabhutas, elements, cosmic mind, intelligence, ego, which are subject to limitations of time and space. Saguna, Vikara, Savikalpa, Achetana, God as the means. Para Prakriti is the higher nature of Ishvara. God is the destination. Nirguna, Nirvikara, Nirvikalpa, Chetana, beyond time and space. Ignorance of the knowledge of Paraprakriti is the cause of samsara. Generally, people have the ability to appreciate and worship God with attributes. This is Saguna Upasana. Only those with a combination of Gnana and Bhakti are able to realize the formless, infinite Brahman. Nirguna Upasana is difficult for those who identify with body-mind. As Krishna says, Klesho adhikarastesham avyakta sakta chesasam avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavadhiravapyate. Also, men desirous of seeking fruits of action worship celestial gods of their choice and obtain results because material results manifest easily. Again, Krishna says, Kangshantaha karmanam siddhim ejanda iha devata kshipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavate karmaja. That's why people resort to Saguna Upasana. Next lesson. In accordance with the level of understanding and appreciating God, spiritual path evolves in three different levels as explained in this verse. Gnana yagnena chapyanne yajanto mamupasate ekatvena pritakwena bahuda vishwatho mukham. Worshipping through Gnana Yagna, path of knowledge, some others worship me in many ways, as different from themselves, as identical with themselves, or as multifarious ones. Now, the verse meaning is like this. Anye etat sarvam vasudevam iti gnana rupena yagnena mam pujayante. Anye means others, gnanis, follow the path of self-knowledge and worship through yagna of knowledge. Vasudeva sarvam iti bhavena, atmaiva sarvam iti bhavena, samatva bhavena, or ekatvena, all mean the same. They know Atma resides in every body. This is non-dual Advaita Bhakti. Anyatra kechana sarvatra vartamanam mam eva parabrahma iti pujayante. Still others worship the all-pervading Parabrahma. They see divinity in the universe in various supreme manifestations. This is Visishtadvaita approach. Anye tu tadrishasya brahmanaha dasohamiti bheda buddhya drishyante. Still others consider Brahma or the creator themselves as helpless creature or samsari and worship. This is Dvaita Bhakti. Next slide, sir. There are three levels of understanding God by gradation by the Bhaktas. First stage is God as creator of the universe, Nimitta Karanam, intelligent cause, just as the carpenter creates furniture out of wood. Attributes are formed in one's mind as Vishnu, Shiva, Lakshmi, located in some far-off place, Kailasa or Kshirasagara or lotus-seated. And they worship, as in Vishnu Sahasranama, Kshiro Danvat Pradeshe. Here, God is visualized as located on the banks of Milky Ocean. This is Ekarupa Bhakti, Dvaita Bhakti. God is the creator of the universe, I am the creature. He is Karmapala Data, I am a helpless samsari, seeking his protection for attaining Ishtartha Kama Siddhirastu. I am here, God is far away. This is what is said as Pritakwena in the verse. I am different from God. This Dvaita Bhakti is the first step to go further in spiritual path. Dvaita Bhakti is also required for transacting in the world. Next slide, sir. In the next stage, with practice of karma yoga and refinement of mind, God is visualized as the substratum of the universe with multifarious forms, all permeated by one divinity. God as Bahuda Vishwatho Mukham. God becomes the universe, Vishwarupa Ishvara. He appreciates the supreme manifestation in Ishvara. This is Visishtadvaita. He visualizes God as the embodiment of the three worlds in eightfold forms, earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intellect, and the ego. Bhupirapanalo vayuh kammano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yemme bhinna prakriti rastada. These are the 8 components of his material energy, apara prakriti. Cosmic names and forms are localized and appreciated. This is the lower nature of Ishvara, subject to limitations of time and space, subject to modifications, therefore finite. This knowledge and worship of Saguna, Savikara, Savikalpa, Achetana form of Ishvara is a stepping stone for attaining Nirguna Ishvara Gnana. Next slide, sir. After further refining the mind with Karma Yoga and Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, Bhakta has the clarity of the higher aspects of Ishvara as the causeless cause, for whom God has not become the universe but appears as the universe. This is Vivarta Upadana Karanam, seemingly the cause. All these appearances are Param Bhavam. Jnanis are aware of the higher nature of Para Prakriti, and Krishna calls them Daivi Prakritim Ashrita Mahatma. They understand Nirguna Ishvara as the ultimate destination, shelter, causeless cause, and worship him Nitya Yukta Upasate. Gradually, the relationship is elevated and Brahman is claimed as everything. There is no second. Any perceived plurality is Maya's projection only. Agnani Bhakta realizes that all that exists is God only, and that is the only reality, Ekatvena. This is Advaita Gnana, when he claims, I, the Jivatma, is none other than the Paramatma. Next slide, sir. A very good illustration quoted in Bhagavatam for the highest level of bhakti is the Prahlada's devotion for Vishnu. In conclusion, these are the 3 stages for a sadhaka to evolve from Dvaita Bhakti to Advaita Bhakti through Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Upasana Yoga, and Jnana Yoga before claiming Aham Brahmasmi. There's a well-known declaration in Vedanta parlance. Without practicing Dvaita way of life, Advaita is not possible, and Advaita is incomplete without practicing Dvaita. Hari Om.
Thank you, Sukanya ma'am, for a wonderful explanation of this verse. 15th sloka talks about Manasa Karma Yoga and Nishkama Manasa Karmani of a Jignasu Bhakta. The Anvaya of this sloka, Anyecha api Jnana Yagdena Yajantah Shanta Mam Upasate Te Yekatvena Prutatvena Cha Upasate Bahuda Vishwatomukam Cha Upasate. In this beautiful shloka, Krishna talks about Ekarupa Ishvara Upasana, Vishwarupa Ishvara Upasana, and Arupa Ishvara Nididhyasanam. So, Ekarupa Dhyanam, Anekarupa Dhyanam, and Arupa Dhyanam. All the 3 are talked about. The first 2 come under Upasana, and the third one comes under Nididhyasanam. All are different types of bhakti only. In the following shlokas, 16th to 19th, Krishna is describing Vishwarupa Ishvara. Throughout the Gita, we find Krishna recommends Vishwarupa Ishvara as the ideal form of Saguna Ishvara. He doesn't talk much about Ishta Devata Upasana, which is why description of the physical body of the Lord we don't find in the Gita. In the Bhagavatam alone, you will find in the several places Krishna is described as a person. So, Shankara poses. Yadi bahubihi prakashaihi upasate, katham tvamyeva upasate iti yataha aha. If Jignasu Bhaktas are doing upasana of different deities, how can you say that they are worshipping you only? Dr. Sachin will answer this with Shloka 9.16. Dr. Sachin, please.
Om Guru Bhaya Namaha. The verse goes like this. Aham krutaraham yajna swadhaham aham aushadam mantroham aham evacham aham agniraham hutam. I'm alone the ritual prescribed by the Shruti. I am the ritual prescribed by Smriti. I am the food offered by the ancestors. I am the food of all living beings, and I am the mantra, I am the fire, and I am the ghee which is put in the oblation. I am the action of offerings. In this verse, before this verse, Krishna described about the three types of bhakta: manda, madhyama, and uttama bhakta, based on the way they worship the Lord. From 16 to 20th verses, Krishna elaborates on the Vishwarupa or Aneka Rupa Darshanam, means Madhyama Bhakti. Learning to look at everything in the creation as the manifestation of Lord is not easy. Not everything can be seen as God, because there might be some things which will be difficult for a normal individual to see as Lord. Initially, we take only those things which are good, which are respectable, and which are valuable for us in our life, in the creation, and those things we take it easily to see the Lord. And since rituals were the predominant in those days, everything connected with these rituals was very sacred. Krishna takes those rituals connected things in this verse and says all of them are none other than himself. In the next slide, we see the meaning in details. So, aham krutam, that is the first word. Aham krutam means Shrota karma, which means rituals and prayers prescribed by the Vedas themselves, which are the original scriptures, primary scriptures. Aham yajna, this is Martha karma. Now, this karmas means rituals and prayers which are not prescribed by the original source but secondary non-Vedic scriptures. Coming to the next slide, the offerings now. Swadaha aham, offerings given to the forefathers. The Pitru or Shraddha Samaya Danam or Diyamana, it is called Swadaha because when the Pitra rituals are done, ancestral rites are done, they give oblations or offerings using the word Swadha. Now, next is Aham Aushadam. The food eaten by us is called Aushadam because it's derived from the root Aushadhi or plant kingdom. Aushadam means what? That which is born out of Aushadhi, a plant product, is called Aushadam. And Swamiji very jovially explains us that importance of having food as medicine, or we might need medicine as food in the future. So the meaning of this is Aham Aushadam. Mantra Aham. All the offerings which is given in the yajna is none other than Lord. Like we say prana, swaha, apayana, swaha. So all the I am the mantraham. So all the offerings in the swadha for ancestral purpose or any other thing is also the Lord. So it may be swadha for the ancestral purpose, or called pitrudanam, or the food for our own selves, aushadam, or food offered to the Lord with the mantra. Everything is the Lord. That is the way we look as aneka rupa. And the meaning is continued. Aham evam ayam, ajam, the clarified butter. So this means the key or the clarified butter which is offered in rituals is also I am, that is Krishna. And finally, I am the very fire, Aham Agnihi, messenger god of this mantra, the Yajna. Whatever is carried by this god, Agnihi, I am, that material also I am, Aham Utam. So the final ahuti which is given is also myself, the Lord. I'm very action of the offering into the Agni. So what is the essence of this entire verse? I am everything. So Vishwa Rupa Darshanam, Aneka Rupa Darshanam. God is there in each and every one. Can it not be said just like that? But why so much of words to be used? Then if you just explain it without so much of words, it would not stick to our mind. That's what Swamiji says to us. So one needs to dwell upon this topic. Hari Om.
Thank you, Dr. Sachin, for that crisp and clear explanation of Shloka 16. As Sachin said, Krishna is telling here emphatically, I am everything. I am Kratuhu, I am Yagnaha, Aham Aushadam, Aham Mantraha, Aham Ajyam, Aham Agnihi. In short, I am everything. Krishna has said this elsewhere in 4th chapter. Brahmarpanam Brahmahavir Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahmakarma Samadhina. And having introduced all the 3 bhaktis, Krishna wants to elaborate the Vishwarupa Bhakti in these following shlokas because the following 10th and 11th chapters are concentrating on Vishwarupa Ishvara Upasana only. Therefore, as a prelude to that, Krishna is giving Vishwarupa Varnanam in 4 verses from 15th to 19th of this chapter. The message is only that Bhagavan alone is in the form of everything. Since Bhagavan is Karanam and everything else is Karyam, Karana Bhagavan alone manifests in the form of Karya Rupa Prapancha. When you say Brahman or Bhagavan is everything, Bhagavan alone is manifesting in the form of everything. Therefore, everything is sacred. And therefore, you meditate upon the entire creation as a sacred manifestation of the Lord. This is the message in the context of Upasana. Therefore, this is called Upasya Brahma Shloka. A shloka which talks about Upasya Brahma. Brahman has to be meditated as everything and see everything as secret. Shankara adds, Kincha, moreover, as the Vishwarupa Ishvara description continues in the next shloka also. Here, Krishna gives another list of things to indicate that everything is Brahman. I invite Dr. Satyanarayana to tell us about this new list. Dr. Satya, sir, please.
Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Verse 9.17 goes like this. Pitaham asya jagato mata dhata pitamaha vedyam pavitram omkara riksama yajurevacha. Pitaham asya jagato means Lord Krishna is saying, I am the father of this universe. Mata dhata pitamaha, also mother, sustainer and grandfather. Vedyam pavitram omkara, I am the one to be known, auspicious and om. Rig sama yajur evacha, as well as Rig Veda, Sama Veda and Yajur Veda. So of this universe, I am the father, I am also the mother, the sustainer and grandsire. I am the purifier, the goal of knowledge, the sacred syllable Om. I am the Rig Veda, Sama Veda and the Yajur Veda. So Krishna, having given, next slide please. In this verse, he gives a glimpse into the various aspects of his infinite personalities. So Vishwa Rupa Ishvara. Here, Krishna gives another list of things to indicate that everything is Brahman. A few examples are given and all these words are quite evident. So, I am the Father, the parent of this creation. From me alone, the whole creation has originated. I am also the mother. So, the Lord is Ardhanarishwara, father and mother, both put together. I am Nimitta Karanam cha, Upadana Karanam cha. So, I am the intelligent cause behind the creation and I am the very material cause of the creation. I am also the grandfather. I am the ultimate father. I am the fatherless father, which means I was never born. I am the causeless cause of the creation. From the standpoint of Brahman component, Chetana Shakti Bhagavan is called father, and from the standpoint of Maya component, Bhagavan is called mother. This is simplified by Ardhanarishwara. Ardhanarishwara is the mixture of Brahman and Maya, therefore father and mother. Then Dhata, I am the dispenser, the distributor of everything to the jivas, according to their karma phalam. What type of body you should get, male or female, animal or human, healthy or sick, I decide. And what is the longevity and during life, what all you should get, I decide. Every one of you, not only human beings, even every animal and insect, what they should get, I alone determine. From this, we should know that whatever we receive is coming from the Lord's hand, and the Lord's hand is law of karma. So therefore, whatever experiences you get is what you deserve. But remember, we are receiving the karma phala for karma of several janmas. This is indicated here, dhata, that is karma phala data. We all have that intellectual hunger to know why this creation, what is this creation, who am I, is there a God, if there is one, what is his nature. This is Vedyam. I am the ultimate thing to be known. Vedyam is nothing but Gneyam and is same as Vigneyam. Next slide. Pavitram means the greatest purifier. Here the Lord says, I am also Omkara, the essence of all the Vedas, the crux of all the Vedas. He also says, he is Rig Veda, Sama Veda, Yajur Veda. Rig Vedas are mantras which are in a metrical composition, which is in the form of poetry. Sama Veda is in music form and Yajur Veda is in prose form. Atharvana Veda primarily contains Laukika or worldly activities and not much used in ritualistic activities and therefore generally not mentioned. But here he is all the four Vedas also. Hari Om.
Thank you, Dr. Satya sir, for the beautiful explanation of that shloka 17. As Dr. Satya explained, in this verse, Krishna proclaims that Ahamasya Jagatah Pita, Mata, Dhata, Pitamaha, Vedyam, Pavitram, Omkaraha, Rigveda, Samaveda, Yajurveda cha Bhavami. And the list continues in the next two shlokas, which we will study in our next session. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Hearty thanks to Sri Venkatesh Prasad and all the speakers of the day for a very nice session. Thanks to all the Vedantists who have joined us today. Friends, we shall be back on Friday, the 4th October, with our 20th session of Mandukya Upanishad at 6:45 p.m. Param Vedanta teacher shall be explaining further karikas, and I suggest you to join us on time and benefit from the enlightening knowledge of Mandukya Upanishad. Karikas. Let us chant the Shanti Mantra and conclude today's session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Shri Krishna.